Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are starting Unit 6 already, so we are flying through this school year. It seems like we just got started. I know every day kind of feels the same at this point, but hang in there, keep your heads up. For those of you that are doing well, you're killing it. I'm proud of you. For those of you who are barely hanging on, don't worry, I'm kind of there with you. But let's all stick together. Christmas is right around the corner, and as of today, there are 16 days till Christmas. That's huge. Get excited about that. Fact of the day, real quick. The main cause of kidney stones is dehydration, so drink more water. That's very important. Today, we're going to be talking about triangles. I'm going to give you a break from the real difficult math and take you back to, like, I don't know, kindergarten or first grade, and do some really basic math. I think we all deserve that at this point, right? So, nothing exciting about this lesson, nothing super cool or interesting. I might give you some new information, but not much, so don't get stressed out. You do need to pay special attention to this video, as I mentioned in Google Classroom, because your homework is in the video. I'm not going to say anything about it, I'm not going to prompt it, but the questions are going to pop up. So you need to pay attention, watch out for those problems, and then you can either write them down or put them in a Google Doc and then submit that to Google Classroom. Sound good? All right, let's get it. All right, so the first thing that we need to do today is learn how to classify triangles. So I think you understand how to classify by sides, but let's talk first about classifying triangles by their angle measures, and then we'll talk about the sides, and then we're going to put them together so you know how to name triangles like a beast, because that's a really important life skill. All right, this triangle here has a right angle in it. A right angle is 90 degrees, so this isn't very creative, but this is a right triangle. This triangle here has at least one obtuse angle. Remember, obtuse means bigger than 90. 120 is bigger than 90, so this is an obtuse triangle. This triangle has three angles that are less than 90 degrees. 80, 55, and 45, they're all less than 90. And remember, acute means tiny, so smaller than 90. This is an acute triangle. And lastly, this is not extremely important, but this is called an equiangular triangle because all of the angles are the same. Equiangular. EQUI means equal, and angular is talking about the measures, the angle measures. So we've got a right triangle, obtuse, acute, equiangular. Whatever. All right, so now let's talk about classifying triangles by their side lengths. This is something that you're probably already familiar with, so we'll just go really quickly. If all of these side lengths are different, we call this a scalene triangle. If we have two or more equal sides, so two equal sides here, this is an isosceles. How do you spell that? And this is an equilateral. How do you spell that? Okay, and this is equilateral because all of the lines, all of the sides are equal. So we have scalene, which means that all of the sides are different. Isosceles, which means two sides are the same. And then an equilateral, where all of the sides are the same. So now you know how to classify triangles by their angle measures and by their side lengths. Now, so what you do if you're classifying a triangle with both their angle measures and their side lengths, you list first the angle and then the length name. So for example, if I gave you this triangle here, an obtuse triangle, that has three different sides, we would call this an obtuse scalene triangle. If I gave you, let's see, an equiangular triangle, where all the angles are the same, well, if all the angles are the same, all the sides are going to be the same as well. And we could just call this one equilateral. I need to just stop. Okay, let's look at this triangle here. It's an isosceles triangle, and it appears that all of my angle measures are acute. You can tell that those are less than 90 degrees. So because this is an acute triangle, and it's also an isosceles triangle, we can call this an acute isosceles triangle. And we keep going. I want you to do these problems now. Classify these triangles by first their angle measure and then their side length. Do it. Alright, so we got two important theorems to talk about today. The first one is the triangle sum theory. When I add up all of the interior angles, interior means inside, it adds up to 180 degrees. So for example, 50 plus 45 plus 85 is 180. Alright, so if this 45 were missing here, that could basically be a variable. So we would just call that x. And then we would solve for x. So 180 minus 85 minus 50 would be 45. You just find the missing angle. That one's pretty simple. Another interesting theory is the exterior angle theorem, which says if I have an angle on the outside, it is touching another angle, like on the inside. So C and D make a straight line. That makes sense. D is the same thing as A plus B. And you're going to do some example problems with that. But as you can see, I can fill this in with numbers and the theorem applies. So basically what this is saying is D, this angle right here on the outside, is going to be 60 plus 70 if we put some numbers in there. And we know that that would equal 130. Now let's just extend this and think back to what we know about angles. These two angles here, because they make a straight line, they're supplementary angles. So we know that this has to be 50. And now check this out. The triangle sum theory applies to this as well. 60 plus 50 plus 70 is indeed 180. Alright, so two really exciting theories, guys. I was really pumped up about teaching these. Make sure you have completed all of the problems from this video and you submit them to Google Classroom. Alright, sounds good.